Okay, so today what I'm going to be doing is going through and trying to find the number one best MCU Marvel Legends figure of all time. What I did is I set up a bracket and I put in 44 different MCU Marvel Legends figures. I couldn't fit every single one because there's just way too many, but I put a lot of the better ones and some of my favorites in there. What we're going to do is it's going to be like a tournament style, so we'll have head-to-head matchups, and this is just based off my personal opinion. We're going to start off with this matchup here. So it's the Black Panther Legacy Vibranium suit versus the Netflix Punisher figure. So this one's a pretty easy one for me. I would definitely go Punisher. The Black Panther one's pretty cool, but that Punisher is just so cool. So we'll go ahead and move that one on. Okay, so now Punisher has moved on here, but we're going to go down here. So now we have the Conchu Build-A-Figure from Moon Knight and the Miles Morales figure from Into the Spider-Verse and from the Stiltman Build-A-Figure wave. This one, I have to go with Miles. The Conchu Build-A-Figure is so cool, has so many cool details and everything, but I just really love Miles Morales, and that figure is really cool with his jacket and everything. Alright, so now Miles moves on. Alright, so our next matchup here is the Black Widow from Endgame, which is a really cool figure, and against the Spider-Man Homecoming suit. Oof. I have to go Black Widow on this one because that Endgame one for Black Widow is super good. I like the Homecoming suit for Spider-Man, but I feel like that version, just the sculpting and everything wasn't quite as good as I would want. So for that reason I have to go with Black Widow. Alright, so our next one is between the Iron Man Mark 85 from the Infinity Saga 2-pack, so that's the one with the Tony Stark head, versus She-Hulk. And this one's an easy one for me. It's the Mark 85. The She-Hulk figure was cool, but I mean, that Iron Man figure is really hard to beat. Okay, so the Mark 85 moves on there. Our next matchup here is Yondu from Volume 2 and the Netflix Daredevil figure. So this one I feel like is a no contest. I feel like Daredevil wins this pretty good. Yondu is a cool figure, but Daredevil is just such a cool character, and that figure is really awesome. So Daredevil wins it on this one. Alright, so now our next matchup is Magneto from the 2-pack that had Professor X in it, and the Scarlet Witch from WandaVision. So this one's pretty tough. I really like that Magneto figure, and he came with 4 heads, which is crazy. So you can have either version of Magneto, but the Scarlet Witch from WandaVision I feel like is the best Scarlet Witch figure we've got, and the face really looks like Elizabeth Olsen, but personally I like Magneto just a little bit more, so I'm going to go with Magneto on that one. Alright, so now we have another Iron Man here. So it's the Iron Man Mark 7 from the first 10 years. The Mark 7's the one from the first Avengers versus Thanos from the 5-pack. And this Thanos is the one with all of his Black Order. That's a pretty cool Thanos. I don't know, that's a tough one there. I really like that Thanos. I think that's my favorite look for Thanos. But I think that's my favorite look for Iron Man, so I'll have to go with Iron Man just slightly there. Alright, so our next one here is Ant-Man from Quantumania and War Machine from Endgame. Oof, this one's pretty tough. I don't know. That Ant-Man, though, is pretty good. I think it's the best Ant-Man we've got. And that War Machine from Endgame's pretty cool, but I have to give just a slight edge to Ant-Man. I like Ant-Man as a character a little bit better, and that figure is just really cool. So Ant-Man takes it on that one. I know I'm probably going to get some some comments on that one. Alright, so our next one is StarLord from Volume 2 from the Ego 2-pack. And another War Machine here, but this one's from the Civil War 2-pack. Oh, this one's close too, because I really like both of those figures a lot. I don't know. That's tough. Because that Star-Lord in that one looks really good, because it has that mask, his helmet there. But I think that Civil War Machine is my favorite War Machine figure. Oh man, that's a really tough one. I think I'll have to go with the War Machine on this one, just barely. Sorry, Star-Lord, but oh man, that's a tough one. Yeah, War Machine takes that one. Alright, so our next one, Yellow Jacket from the first 10 Years 2-pack versus Gamora from Volume 2. And this one's pretty easy for me. I'm going to go with Gamora from Volume 2. Yellow Jacket's cool, but Gamora is just a cooler character, and that figure's really cool. One of my favorite figures there. So Gamora takes that one. Alright, so now, oh man, this is probably the toughest matchup. Honestly, this could have been like the final one, the championship round. It's the Wolverine, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine with the brown jacket versus the worthy Captain America from Endgame. Oh man, I don't know which one I'm going to pick on this one. Because I love both those characters and both those figures are awesome. Oh man. Oh gosh. It sucks for either one of these to get eliminated in the first round. I'm going to have to go with the Wolverine with the brown jacket. Just ever so slightly, because I like Wolverine slightly better than Captain America. And that one's going to cause some controversy, I believe. So, sorry, worthy Captain America, but you were eliminated in the first round. And I did a random matchup deal, so I didn't set any of these. They were just random. So now we have the, oh gosh, this is another tough one. So we have the Infinity War Thor and the new Andrew Garfield figure from the SpiderMan No Way Home 3-pack. Both of those are really good. Honestly, for me though, I'll have to go with the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man just because I like Spider-Man better than Thor. And the head sculpt on that Thor figure wasn't all that great. So definitely Andrew Garfield's moving on this one. Alright, so now we're moving on to the second round. And some of these were automatically in the second round just because there's so many figures. But our first matchup in the second round is the Spider-Man upgraded suit, which is the red and black suit, but the Walmart exclusive one that had the Tom Holland head sculpt included in it, versus the Netflix Punisher. Oh man, this one's tough because Spider-Man's my favorite character, and that was a good figure, but it's missing the black lines on it. But the Netflix Punisher is a really cool figure, but it's a little older, a little dated. The head sculpt on it doesn't look that great because of the technology for that time. Alright, I think Punisher slightly wins on this one. Just barely though. Man, these ones are getting really tough in the second round here. Alright, so Punisher moves on in that one. Next we have Moon Knight versus the first 10 years Hulk from that Hulkbuster 2-pack. Oh man, this one's tough too. Jeez Louise. I really like the Moon Knight figure, but Hulk's my favorite version of Hulk there. This is tough. I didn't think these were going to be that hard. I'm going to have to go with Hulk, I guess, just because I like Hulk slightly better, because I feel like we spent more time with him than Moon Knight, but that Moon Knight character, or Moon Knight figure is really good. Just barely though, just barely. So Hulk moves on in that one. Oh man, this is another tough one. So we've got Wolverine, but this is the one with the white tank top and the dog tags, versus Miles Morales, the Into the Spider-Verse one from the Stiltman Build-A-Figure wave. I'm gonna have to go with Wolverine on this one, just because I like Wolverine so much. That Miles is a good figure though, but Wolverine just way too good of a figure. All right, so our next matchup here is it's another Thanos figure, but this is the Thanos from the Infinity Saga 2-pack, the one that had the Mark 85 Iron Man in it. So that Thanos versus the in-game Black Widow. And for me, I'm going to have to go with the in-game Black Widow, just because that Thanos, the armored Thanos, I don't care for it as much. And that Black Widow is just probably the best Black Widow we've got. So Black Widow advances. So our next matchup is the Groot, or the evolution of Groot. So it had the 3 different Groots there, the adult Groot, the little baby Groot, and then the potted infant Groot there, versus the Iron Man Mark 85 with the Tony Stark head sculpt. So this one's pretty easy. I really like that Groot. Groot is one of my favorites, but that Mark 85 is just, it's too good with that Tony Stark head sculpt to be beat, even though I really love that Groot. So that Mark 85 Iron Man moves on. Now we have Vision from the Infinity War 2-pack versus the Winter Soldier, the flashback one, from the Falcon and Winter Soldier, but the flashback version. I don't know. I think I have to go Vision on this one. I like Vision slightly better than Winter Soldier, just slightly though. That Winter Soldier one's really cool though. I really like that look too. Next we have Crossbones from the first 10 years 2-pack and the Daredevil Netflix figure. That Crossbones is really cool, but Daredevil's just, it's too good to go down against Crossbones there. And Crossbones is cool, but we didn't have he didn't have all that big of a role in the movie really. Alright, so Netflix's Daredevil moves on that one. Now we have the first 10 years Hulkbuster from that 2-pack versus the Magneto from the Professor X 2-pack. I have to go with Magneto on this one, just because the Hulkbuster's cool, but it's just, we didn't see that much of it. And I have a pretty good connection to Magneto there. So Magneto advances on that one. Alright, so now Nebula from Volume 2 versus the Mark 7 Iron Man from the first 10 years from the first Avengers. This one's pretty tough, because that's probably one of my favorite Iron Mans, but that Nebula from Volume 2 is really cool. Oh, I have to... I have to go Iron Man on it, just because I like Iron Man better. And that's my favorite look for Iron Man. That Nebula is really cool though. Best Nebula. Now we have Hawkeye from the Disney Plus series. So Clint Barton's Hawkeye there versus Professor X from that 2-pack. That's probably the best Hawkeye we've had. But that Professor X, I personally like Professor X a lot better than Hawkeye, even though I really do like Hawkeye. So Professor X moves on, and it's a good figure too. So alright, so Professor moved on, Professor X moved on there. Now we have the Iron Patriot figure from Endgame versus AntMan from Quantumania. For me, I have to go the Quantumania AntMan. We didn't really see that Iron Patriot one very much in the movie, and I like it, but I feel like it's a little bit too bulky, but it is cool. Ant-Man Quantumania one moves on, and that Quantumania suit just had so many cool details on it. It looks really cool. So now we have Mysterio from Far From Home versus the Civil War War Machine, and this one's pretty easy for me. it's going to be the Civil War War Machine, even though that Mysterio is really cool. I really love that Civil War War Machine. It's one of my favorites. So the Civil War War Machine has advanced. So now we have Ultron from the first 10 years versus the Gamora from Volume 2. And this one's pretty easy. I'm going to go with Gamora because I really like Gamora. That Ultron's really cool though, but it's just, I like Gamora better. And the figure's really cool. Now we're going on to the Gladiator Hulk Build-A-Figure versus the Iron Spider from the Infinity War 2-pack that actually has the claws and everything. For me, it's going to be the Iron Spider just because I really like the Iron Spider suit and it looks really cool. Gladiator Hulk is cool, but I just feel like the head sculpt and stuff on that wasn't that great. Iron Spider moves on. Now we have Doctor Strange from No Way Home versus Wolverine with the brown jacket. This one's pretty easy. I'm going to go with Wolverine with the brown jacket, even though that Doctor Strange is the best Doctor Strange in my opinion that we've gotten so far, but that Wolverine's just way too cool. Alright, so now our last matchup in round 2, Deadpool. Oh man, this is a tough one. Deadpool versus Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Oh man, that's tough because Deadpool's so cool, but Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man's so awesome too. This is another one that could have been like one of the championship round ones. I'm gonna have to slightly give the advantage to Deadpool just because he looks a little bit cooler and he does come with a lot more accessories than the Andrew Garfield one does. Man, that's a close one though. I really love both of those figures though. So now we're moving on to round 3. So to start off round 3, we start off with the Netflix Punisher versus the first 10 years Hulk from the 2-pack. And I'm going to have to go with the Punisher. That Hulk's really cool, but I think that Punisher is just way too cool. Even though it's a little bit dated, I still like it. So Punisher moves on to the championship rounds, or semifinals. I don't know what that is. Something like that. Alright, so our next one is Wolverine with the white tank top versus Black Widow from Endgame. This one's pretty easy. I'm going to go with Wolverine with the white tank top. Even though that Black Widow from Endgame's super cool, but that Wolverine's it's just so much better. And then we have the Mark 85 Iron Man with the Robert Downey Jr. head sculpt versus Vision. That one's pretty easy for me too. It goes to Iron Man, Mark 85. Vision's cool, but Iron Man's just way cooler. Alright, so now we have Netflix's Daredevil versus Magneto. This one's pretty easy for me too. Daredevil's going to win that out. Magneto's really cool though, and I like how they had all those different heads and stuff. But yeah, Daredevil wins that one. Now we have the Iron Man Mark 7 versus Professor X. Oof. This one's pretty tough. Oh man. That's a tough one here. Oh man. That is really tough. Eesh. I think I'm going to have to go with... Oh man. I really want to say Professor X, but the Iron Man Mark 7 is so cool. Oh, I really like Professor X though. I think, yeah, I'm going to go with the Mark 7 Iron Man, even though I really like that Professor X a lot. And I like Professor X as a character, but that Iron Man Mark 7 is just too cool to not win. Alright, so now we've got the Ant-Man from Quantum Mania versus the Civil War War Machine. Oh man, this one's... that one's really, really tough. I think I like Ant-Man slightly better as a character, but... Oh man, that's so tough. I really, really like that Civil War War Machine. It's one of my favorites. Man. Which one do I pick? Oof. I'm going to have to give War Machine just slightly. That Civil War Machine, I think, wins just slightly because he does have a lot more accessories that he comes with, and he's just so cool looking. Alright, so now Gamora Volume 2 versus the Iron Spider. And this one's really tough for me because I really like that Gamora figure, but that Iron Spider figure I think wins just slightly because I like Spider-Man so much. That Gamora's figure is really one of my favorites though. Alright, so now our last matchup in round 3 is, oh my gosh, this literally could have been the finale. It's the Wolverine with the brown jacket versus Deadpool. And literally those are like my top 2 favorite figures. Oh man. Oh man. Eesh. This is tough. Because I really like that Deadpool figure, but I do like Wolverine as a character slightly better. And in that brown jacket, oh man. This one's so difficult. It legitly could have been the finale. Oh man. I guess I'll give it to Deadpool since I already moved on the other Wolverine. That's tough though. That Wolverine's probably one of my favorites. Deadpool moves on though, just because it's sort of a tie between these two, and I already moved on the other Wolverine. Alright, so now for round 4, which is, I guess, like the semifinals? I don't know. So we have the Netflix Punisher figure versus the Wolverine with the white tank top. And for me, I have to go Wolverine with white tank top just because I really like Wolverine so much. That Punisher figure is really cool, but like I've said, you know, the head sculpt on that and the face, just because it's an older figure, doesn't look the best, so that's why Wolverine beats it out. And Wolverine's one of my favorite characters overall, so Wolverine wins on that one. Next we have the Iron Man Mark 85 with Robert Downey Jr. head sculpt versus Netflix's Daredevil figure. I really like the Iron Man Mark 85. That head sculpt's really nice, and I really like Iron Man. But the helmeted version on that Mark 85 isn't perfect. But the Daredevil Netflix figure is really cool, and I really like Daredevil. But it is a slightly older figure, so the face doesn't look quite as good. Oh man. I'm gonna have to go with Iron Man Mark 85, just barely, because I like Iron Man better, and it's slightly newer with better, and it has a lot more accessories as well, so Iron Man takes it on that one. And now we have another Iron Man, so it's the Iron Man Mark 7 versus the Civil War Machine, and I'm gonna have to go with the Civil War Machine on this one. I really like that one quite a bit. The Mark 7 Iron Man's really cool, but those are sort of similar. Mark 7 Iron Man and that Civil War Machine look pretty similar, but I like that War Machine one just slightly better. Alright, so now we have the Iron Spider with the claws versus Deadpool, and Deadpool beats it pretty easily on this one. The Iron Spider one was pretty good, but it's still not quite as good as I'd like it to be, not quite as shiny and accurate to the movie. And that head sculpt for Tom Holland that we got with that one wasn't the greatest, and that Deadpool's it's really hard to beat. Alright, so now we're on to the finale. Well, I don't know. The right before the actual final. Alright, so we have the Wolverine with the white tank top versus the Iron Man Mark 85 with the Robert Downey Jr. head sculpt. And this one's really tough because those are two of my favorite characters and figures. Oh man. That's tough. I'm gonna have to slightly give it to Wolverine on this one. I can't. That's really tough though, but I'm gonna give it to the Wolverine. So Wolverine's in the final right now. And now we have War Machine Civil War versus Deadpool. And I think Deadpool wins that one. I really like that Civil War one, but Deadpool's just is too good. Alright, so it's down to 2 here. So it's between the Deadpool figure and the Wolverine with the white tank top. And, oh gosh, this is tough. It's tough because Deadpool beat the Wolverine with the brown jacket earlier. Oh man, this is tough, but I do like Wolverine slightly better. Oh man, I think, oh my gosh, this is tough. Because in my mind, the Wolverine with the brown jacket would probably slightly better than the Wolverine with the white tank top, but yet Deadpool beat that one, so oh man, this is tough. But Wolverine's like probably my favorite, or pretty close to my favorite character. Oh man, I like Deadpool, but I think Deadpool has to win it just because he is a really cool figure and he does come with a lot of accessories, even though I really like Wolverine. So I think we have to select Deadpool as the overall winner here. The winner is the movie Deadpool figure, but there's a lot of honorable mentions in here, and honestly I feel like that Deadpool and the other 2 Wolverine figures are all 3 tied for number 1 in my opinion. But if we had to pick an overall winner, I guess it'd be Deadpool because he does come with a lot of accessories and he's a really cool figure and character. So that's it for that tournament bracket. So I guess Deadpool is our best MCU Marvel Legends figure of all time. Let me know what you guys think of the results in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed doing it and going through all these matchups. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day.